Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports. Or is this even My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports? I am your host, Robbie Fox, or am I? This is my co-host, Clem, or is it? And we're here to talk about Secret Invasion, Episode 2 today. This is a show that did not premiere to the most amazing numbers. It's, I believe, second lowest behind Miss Marvel. The numbers came out this week. It was a big talking point in the nerd world. It's a very good show, though. Still, through 2 episodes, am I hooked? Am I captivated? Am I on the edge of my seat waiting for next week? No, I'm not. This does sort of feel like the B story of a good Marvel movie, of a Winter Soldier. Feels like we're cutting to Nick Fury and Talos doing their stuff. But through 2 episodes, I'm enjoying it. And if this is just a platform and a vehicle to give Don Cheadle and Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn and Olivia Colman like badass, cool, great acting monologues, so be it.
Yep. The ratings, I didn't even clear 1 million the first week. Is that right? I think it was like 954 or something. We had someone, a listener, who reached out and was like, what they have to do is release these at like Sunday at 9. So it's not like my kids are in the background, which is something I go around with as I'm watching this at 9 a.m. Or it just doesn't have a feel to it. It doesn't have a vibe. And if you're not going to just do the whole dump and watch it your own, like you could binge it. I think it doesn't have to be Sunday at 9, because at some point you're going to run up to HBO when they're just throwing a fucking, home run hitter at you. But like right now, it would kind of work. Like HBO, what's that show that had The Weeknd in it? It's being canned after 5 episodes.
Oh, The Idol.
The Idol, yeah. Like right now, it's like, hey, that panned. Check out we got Samuel L. Jackson. We got, like, you just throw the actors out there. Disney should just have an ad where it's just like Samuel L. Jackson, Don Cheadle, the chick who played Khaleesi. Like, everyone knows Emilia Clarke, but you can even say the chick who played Khaleesi. And you put all these names up there, and then you're like, Secret Invasion. Don't even put Marvel out there. And you might just get a couple of people like, oh, fuck, Disney's releasing a monster show right now. And you know what? Maybe they figure out what's going on. Maybe they don't, but it's better than 9. You get a couple more viewers than 954,000. I think we could agree on that.
Absolutely. Did you like the second episode, though? I thought it was good.
Yeah. So this is starting for me the way Andor did, which is almost unfair to say, because I don't think there's a way. It's going to be very hard for this to reach the highs that Andor did in the end. But remember in Andor, I was kind of like, first year, I was like, I'm in. It's like some fun stuff. Feels like a grown-up version of the other shows and movies we've watched in this universe. So I'm in on it. It's like they said, though, like the acting's awesome. There's definitely some cool stuff that they can do here, and it's going to set up a lot of cool stuff for the future. But the problem with, I think, Marvel shows in general and the whole superhero fatigue, which I'm now fatigued of the superhero fatigue line, it's like you have to eat your vegetables at some point, and they're not giving us, like, we're not getting the pizza, we're not getting the ice cream sundae. At least at some point you got a fucking Avengers movie that just blew your fucking mind, or you're getting this like standalone superhero movie that was awesome. And it does feel like we're not really getting that in the connected world. Obviously Guardians was awesome, but we're not getting that with all these, like, Bob, listen, we've been doing a lot of reviews on this show. And this is probably one of the better shows. I'll be honest. This is probably one of the better shows if you're stacking them in terms of like the quality of it all. But I need to get some payoff. So I'm hoping it's coming. I feel like we are moving along, though, based on what we've learned this episode. So I liked it, didn't love it. I feel like that's just going to be me. I'm not an espionage guy in general, unless you kind of pull the shit they did in Andor.
Yeah, I feel like Captain America 4 might be that movie for this phase of Marvel. I hope it is, at least. I hope it's that Civil War type feel where you bring everything in. We know that we're getting Harrison Ford in it. We know that we're getting like maybe some payoff to the Eternal stuff. The Hand in the Ocean, people said, might pay off in Captain America 4. Who knows? Hopefully that does, bridge the gap. Because like you said, the disconnectedness, the no connectivity between this phase, it's very weird, especially considering there's so much content in it. There's as much content in this phase as there was in the previous 3, but it doesn't feel like it's clicking the way the previous 3 did, with a lot more resources, a lot more opportunities and avenues to cater to the diehard fans. I don't know what they're doing over there with the whiteboard, but break out the dry erase marker.
yeah. Maybe the eraser a little bit too, if you have to do some stuff and be like, oh, this shit doesn't really matter. We're just going to erase this, or we're going to put it in big font to smaller font, which goes from, like we said, 10-part series to special presentation, one time only for an hour, which I think they're kind of doing. And I hope that's what, again, they can only write off so much. Whatever the fuck write off means, we're still not sure. There's only so much money Disney can write off for things that aren't going to crush. But yeah, I'm just worried we're going to be putting in more time for just like, because I didn't realize did the first episode have the flashbacks with all the stuff with the Skrulls, or was that just this episode?
It was just this episode, and I thought that was kind of weird too. Like, obviously, people like you and me, we get the backstory. We saw Captain Marvel. We know all that. But to wait till episode 2 to give the previously on, very strange.
Very strange. And listen, my daughter was watching. I don't think she watched Captain Marvel, at least like a lot of it. I think she kind of just like tapped out after a while when we first watched it. And she's like, oh, like, so that's what's going on with all these weird green guys on my screen. And again, it's like, oh, between that movie and then this show, so much fucking shit has happened in the Marvel universe. You know, the people in it and then the people outside it. So it's like, and you can't just be like, hey, remember that shit back in 95, 97, and now we're jumping ahead now. It's just a lot. I understand they had to kind of tell the backstory of Gravik and all that stuff. But again, it just feels like we're putting together a puzzle and we're just in the corners right now. There's nothing in the middle. There's nothing like, you know, in the heart of it, even the bottom. We're just putting corners together. And at this point, I'm like, yo, motherfucker, just throw down. Like, give us some big pieces. That it's just like boom, boom, boom. Oh, shit. That's coming together. And it looks pretty awesome. Which, for the record, might have already happened. And then, like, the guy who was going to be a big part of that kind of became, like, potentially a real problem for the MCU.
Although I heard there's good news on that front this week. I heard that things swung for Jonathan Majors in a direction that's positive for him, whatever that means. I don't know if the damage is already done, but yeah, whatever that means. So let's get into the episode. Like you said, we start a little earlier this one. We give the 1995 flashback, and then they jump ahead to 1997 to Brixton, where we see a young Nick Fury meeting a young Gravik, and he's as a Skrull still, and Nick Fury's putting together, I don't want to say like a team. He's, you know, it's not the Avengers here, but he's putting together a group of Skrulls that will help protect Earth while Fury and Talos find them a new world. And he is told, you know, this kid is very brave. He's not your average kid. He's like, should I let him in? He's literally a kid. Talks to him for a little bit. He's like, are you afraid? He's like, not at all. So he allows it, swears them all in. They all assume human identities. This is the Skrull thing. They assume a human identity. There's good Skrulls. There's bad Skrulls. We don't know which one is which. If anyone at Barstool has been a Skrull for the past 5 years, who do you think it could be?
This is why the Basement Boys work, Bob, because I was going to bring this up on my own, and I forgot all about it. I want everyone in the comments, today's comment section game, give us who at Barstool is most likely to be a Skrull and give your explanation. And we're going to give a prize, TBD prize, unless you have something at the edge of your tongue. TBD prize to the one that gets the most upvotes. So just give a name, give a reasoning, can be pretty basic. I have a guy.
It's a good question, right?
I thought of this one. So there's 2 people I thought of. One is Frank. But
Frank the Tank?
I think Frank would just tell you he's a Skrull, though. Like, yeah, I'm a motherfucking Skrull. What do you want me to say? Like, I feel like Frank would have just told us at some point that he was a Skrull. Like, because like when Frank's and he has his like moments of weakness and he's like done with his like whatever rant he's on, he'll be like, yeah, like I palmed the nugget. Like, I know what I did here. I have a real one though. I honestly think Nick Tirani's a Skrull.
Oh, why?
Dude just showed up one day. Just hanging out with Kyle, right? And KB, Skrull, I don't know what KB is in general as well, but like just showed up. Nicest dude you'll ever meet. Fucking, you get in a conversation about basically anything with him. He adds so much to the conversation. Funny, like just a good overall person. I love being around that guy. And the more I like you, the more I'm sussy these days in Skrull land. So Nick Tirani's my Skrull. And honestly, I have to be convinced that he's not a Skrull at this point. I'm like really kind of, I'm happy he's going to Chicago now because when the Skrull invasion kicks off in our world, I don't know if I want to be near the Skrulls. What about you? Who's your guess?
My guess is someone real close to the heart, someone that I keep close. It's my big Screaming Honkers teammate, Chris Klemmer. I think he could be a Skrull. You see his compact mode. You see his fart noise. He's got a lot of really strange hidden abilities, and I feel like that is Skrull behavior right there. Obviously, you've seen his finger. He's got a long finger. People
I
haven't
had
seen
him.
it. It's ET-ish.
I had him on the rundown today, and he posed as the gargoyle on command, basically on the chair. So there's a lot of alien tendencies about that man, extraterrestrial tendencies, and yeah, like if it's not Skrull behavior, it's Kree, it's some sort of fucking someone in that database that Amelia was looking at the end of the episode for sure.
Also, if we just expand it beyond Barstool to the real world, I feel like there's a decent chance that Kanye has been a Skrull for the past couple of years.
And Tom Cruise, definite Skrull, 1000% Skrull.
Yeah. Oh shit. Tom Cruise is a Skrull. You see the picture today? He went somewhere just to take pictures with movie tickets. He's like, look at this, a double feature. And it was Barbie and Oppenheimer. He's holding the ticket in front like he's Rob Lowe with an NFL hat.
Yeah, he's really hit like a new phase with this saving the movie industry ever since Top Gun 2 came out. And I mean, just think about the Oprah stuff on the couch, and I mean, he might literally be considered a Skrull in his religion. I don't know how that stuff works. I'm also going to just leave it there. I don't want to get this. I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't get myself in trouble. I don't get Barstool in trouble. But yeah, I think there is a chance like he is a Skrull or Skrull adjacent being.
Yeah. So Fury tells Gravik, listen, you stay true to your word. I'm going to stay true to mine. And that's important. So remember that for later. And we go right back to the bombing last week in Moscow. Gaia gets into a car with Gravik, Fury, and a guy screaming, I'm an American, I'm an American. They get tossed into some vans by Talos. Talos is in the front. Guards are asking for Fury on the train because he's there. It's weird that he was there, an American in Moscow during the bombing, basically framing him. And Talos covers for him. He's like, you kidding me? You think a black man would be spotted on this train? You'd be better off looking for an alien or something like that. It turns back into him. And then we get the first really well-acted scene of the episode where Fury tells Talos about going on train rides with his mother as a kid. And they would play the game, tell me something I don't know about blah, blah, blah. And he says, tell me something I don't know about the destruction of Skrullos. And he's like, you know all there is to know about it, Fury. In that little Ben Mendelsohn voice and everything. He reveals that all of the Skrulls are now on Earth, all million Skrulls. So we have 1 million Skrulls on Earth. Out of 8 billion, it's a small sample size, but there's a lot of fucking Skrulls, 1 million. And he's like, I didn't know if you were ever coming back. So I thought your rule of only a couple people could come to the party was thrown out the window. I invited everyone to the party, and now it's fucking Project X on Earth.
Fury did the thing where he was like, I'm just going to put my feet up and relax a little. Like he was burnt out at work and just did his thing. And everything came tumbling down. Even when like young Gravik's looking at him. And now based on like what he said in that meeting to what happened when he disappeared and whatever changed about him has really, it's like the first time you catch your parents lying to you and you're like, well, I'll never trust you again now. And that's a tough look. And it's completely made his turn to like a villain completely justified, because we've all been there before where it's like, this motherfucker told me something. That's why when I tell the kids, I'm gonna like, if you do this, you get 5 minutes of YouTube. If you go back on that, you are putting yourself in a world of fucking pain. And my guy Fury basically did that to himself. That was a good back and forth with him and Talos on the train. The tell me something I don't know game. At one point, he turned into Jules again from Pulp Fiction in my mind. And I'm like, oh, God, here he is. And he's telling me. And by the way, the thought of that chicken must have tasted so fucking good when he's just explaining it. And it didn't even like make it like 5 minutes on the train. I was like, oh, man, I want some chicken right now. I'm not a deviled eggs guy, but there was a lot of stuff I could just dig into. I didn't really get to like put this into proper perspective at the end of the last episode. What the fuck, Gaia? What the fuck happened? Did we ever get an explanation? Like, I thought she was on our side. I thought all was good. Maria Hill's fucking dead. That actually happened. Or were we just off on Gaia? Did I trust her too much? I feel like I trusted her too much. Did I trust her too?
Definitely.
Did you trust her?
I trusted her because I'm thinking, oh, it's Talos' daughter. She was great in the movie, this, that, the next thing. I'm sure that she's going through a hard time. The loss of her mother is a tough time for Skrulls in the world, but she's not going to do anything that will lead to the death of, say, Maria Hill. And then she did something that led to the death of Maria Hill. And you see they load her casket onto the plane. Fury has to have that conversation with her mom, where the mom's like, they won't even fucking tell me where my daughter died on this earth. Like, what the hell? Fury tells her and everything. Another like great acted scene. Tough conversation to have, though. Oh my God, he's breaking the news to the mother, being like, yeah, they were really coming after me. And she's like, so you're the reason we're shipping my daughter home in a box. And he's like, yeah. And the whole time, him not wearing the eye patch, it kind of makes everything a little more raw. Him raw dogging the eye in the free air.
Yeah, I actually like that's such a like cop out by Fury. He's like, I'm not gonna wear the eye patch today. I think it's gonna give me a little like get out of jail free card. I'm gonna like.
Is that just Samuel L. Jackson being like, dude, I'm tired of wearing this eye patch. My eyesight's going bad in one eye now.
I like that. I'm telling you, that's Fury, man. He's like, if you want to get like Elizabeth Hill, man, she hurts, man. She was cutting deep with that stuff. If he's wearing the eye patch, she goes even in. She might slap him if he was wearing the eye patch. But without the eye patch, I don't think you can like. The eye patch is the sign of like a disability or something wrong with you. When you see the actual eye, though, it's like you're literally staring it right in the face. So that's even worse almost, I think. So that was actually a good move. Like sometimes if I just want to take the elevator instead of like taking stairs at like a really long like subway stop or something, throwing a little limp there, just be like, it's not because guys, it's not because I'm just being lazy. I'm a little hurt. I'm a little dinged up. That's what Fury's doing. He's like, hey, remember this? He's like, your daughter may be dead, but not like my eye's been dead for fucking like decades now. So good move by Fury.
The old Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, exactly.
You hit the Kaiser Soze. You hit a limp. Also, Fury, like, you ever see like an old dog, like when their eyes get all like, they get like boogery and crusty and they got cataracts? I feel like Fury's eye should be that at some point. Like Maria Hill should be, or Elizabeth Hill should have to like dab goo out of his eye with a napkin or something. Like, oh, you got to get this.
I mean, you can't tell me Bill Cosby's people didn't do that to him after all that shit came out, because that motherfucker came back from like his court trial and he looked like a fucking ghost dad. He had two just fucking like pale white eyes. And you're like, what the fuck? Where did that happen from? And like, that's a PR move. And Nick Fury fucking knows what he's doing. I didn't realize this until the train. Strong fucking beard by Fury too.
Yeah.
Real strong beard.
The beard, the hat combo. I love it all.
Yeah.
So speaking of PR, the PR works and Americans against Russia are blamed for the attack. Russia is expected to retaliate soon. We hear it on the news from Shooter McGavin. Shooter McGavin has joined the MCU. Stunning. He's someone I think of obviously from Happy Gilmore first, and then second, I think of from the Barstool Miami Super Bowl party that got flooded, and there's just a video of him sitting in the middle of the flood trying to get an Uber. It's one of the funniest videos we've ever put out.
Dude, I just wrote Shooter McGavin with an exclamation point in my notes. I didn't even know what else to add to that. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wait, is this guy, has he already been in the MCU? Because he feels like a guy who could have been there at some point. It also feels like he could have been a J. Jonah Jameson in one of the universes, the way he was playing up that like Fox News role or whatever it was supposed to be. But yeah, I'm happy he's here. I'd love for him to be a bigger role, but he's always going to be Shooter McGavin no matter what he does. What's his other? Was he in Clue?
I think he might have been in Clue. Yeah.
So like Christopher McDonald. I don't know what else he was in, but he's always.
What's his? Click on his IMDb and give us his top 4 most known for.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise. Never saw.
Haven't seen it.
Quiz Show.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but I know people rave about it. People say Quiz Show's great.
Obviously, Happy Gilmore. And then number 4 on the list, Harry's Law, a TV show from 2011 with Kathy Bates that had 32 episodes. That's a tough number 4 there. He was the Cowboys owner in Ballers, apparently. I kind of remember he was like a Jerry Jones kind of a guy. That's a tough number 4, though. He has to get someone at IMDb to fix that up a little. I mean, maybe this could be his guy, like dickhead, propaganda Skrull in Secret Invasion. I don't know what else he could be, but I feel like he has some other things. He's in Grumpy Old Men, Mike. Don't remember that, but that was a fun movie. He was in one episode of Home Improvement. He's always Shooter. As much as this bums me out, he's always Shooter McGavin no matter what he does. Yeah. So I almost prefer it this way, so he can always, like, again, Littlefinger versus Carcetti, The Wire and Game of Thrones. It's such a thing where he fucks your mind up where it goes one way or the other. The fact that he is so Shooter McGavin it just makes it even easier for me to kind of just dismiss him as like, do you think we get him again, maybe once the rest of the season?
Maybe once more, but the next scene, you know, like we can get into it. Like the next scene, they elect Gravik to Skrull General. I feel like his purpose was mostly served by that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he was also Joe DiMaggio in The Bronx is Burning, which I kind of remember. I was like, oh, shooter. Like he's got his,
Oh,
he got
I
a
haven't
role,
seen The Bronx is Burning.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. I definitely, you're a Yankees fan, obviously. I definitely would check that out.
Yeah.
By the way, they come with, I don't know if it's the next scene or this scene. The numbers in terms of murders is, I don't know if it's just Moscow or everything combined. 2,000 murders. 9/11.
And that's just the bodies they found. They said, yeah, that's the first thing I thought of.
9/11 at 2996. This is like a 9/11 level fucking.
They said the numbers are going to triple by the time we clear all the rubble and everything. They had a line where they said the numbers will probably triple. Yeah. So we're talking 6,000 people dead. This is an insane terrorist attack. So
they undersold it. They undersold it.
They did.
Now I think they completely and like you see the how I knew that scene was like, oh fuck, is when the explosion happens and you see that one old lady kind of just get like flown up, like she like flies, and I was like,
she gets yeeted.
Like, oh yeah, exactly, she gets yeeted big time, and then it's like, oh, my poor Maria is gone. Is she gone? Maybe that's it. Maybe they should have just had Maria completely like blown apart and is clearly not a Skrull, and then be like, look at all these other people that are dead there. Because all I'm thinking about is the one person who may or may not be dead. It completely undersold that fucking, and now it makes sense. If I'm fucking Russia, I'm like, yeah, we're going to war, motherfuckers. Let's ride.
Yeah. They needed a line where someone had to say, this is like 2 9/11s. That would have like put it into perspective for all the dummies out there and been like, holy shit.
The problem for them is it's like, or this is a one trillionth of a snap of a blip. And they're like everything probably seems like nothing these days to these people now. Cause it's like, a couple thousand, who cares? Like
how many people died in the Battle of New York? The civilians, you know, like,
right. That's true.
I'm sure a lot. So Gravik tells Gaia he just wanted to see what was left of Fury. That's why he brought him out there. Just wanted to see what was left of him. They go to that secret meeting with the Skrull Council. And at first, everyone's like, we got to punish you. These numbers are insane. You can't just take control of our entire species and basically start a war. And he explains everything on his behalf, on his perspective, his villain mindset, where he thinks he's the good guy. He's like, Fury abandoned us. He said, stay true to our word. He'll stay true to his. He hasn't stayed true to his. It's been, what, 30 years, almost 30 years now. We don't have a new home. Let's just take this home. We like Earth. We don't like the humans. And they had that line with the dogs, which I loved with Gravik being like, I actually like dogs a lot more than humans. They're not hypocrites. They're not liars. They're not this. They're not that. And he says, I'm just speeding up the inevitable. The war is going to happen. I'm just making sure it happens now in our lifetime for our generation. And they're like, guy's got a point. And they vote him Skrull General right on the spot. They let the one girl leave because she's like, this is fucking crazy. You're all fucking crazy. I'm getting out of here. So they let her leave. But other than that, we got a new Skrull General. This was the kind of thing where, like, this was a good scene, well-acted scene. I feel like we could have started the show with Gravik as Skrull General, and we wouldn't have lost anything. You know, you could have just cut out time by doing that.
That's a very fair point. That's a great point, Rob. I'm with you on that for sure. I also would have liked if we could have had one a character from the MCU that we know that isn't a superhero or isn't like super important, but just being like, oh, fuck, that person's a Skrull. Because I think that, like, obviously it's like the prime minister of fucking, you know, the UK, the head of NATO or whatever, shooter motherfucking McGavin, one of the greatest golfers of all time. And then obviously our boy Gravik here. And then the lady who walked out. And it also gives you like a insight into Gravik. And I think the Skrulls in general, where it's like, nope, she's not going to be harmed. Like, they're not going to do some Putin shit unless she like eats some soup and then she fucking turns green and is dead. I did appreciate that for real. So I don't know, man.
Do you say Putin?
Yeah, he's like Putin would be like, you can leave the room, you will not be harmed.
I think Putin is what I'm saying. I think it's
Putin. I feel like I usually call him Putin. I don't know.
Putin is funny, like Putin.
Oh, you know what probably is? I've been reading this fucking other guy's name in the news all week. Pigaroff or whatever the fuck his name is, the guy who marched Wagner up the. You didn't.
I don't read the news.
We thought Russia was going to a civil war on Saturday. It was a whole thing, Bob. It was wild. It was like 2 hours, but it was.
I saw a little bit of that Wagner group. I was asking Jack, who's the Wagner group? I was with Jack Mack, so he tried to explain it to me, and I nodded like I understood, but I didn't understand. I didn't get it at all.
You didn't understand it at all. Yeah, that's fair.
So Gravik is given a hero's welcome at the power plant. Goes back to the base of all the Skrulls, new Skrullos, and he tells someone head down. Gaia follows. They head down to this weird area where you can tell there's experiments going on. There's a big machine. Gaia overhears them talking about the harvest. Oh, the harvest. It was wrong. It's not where Gravik said it was. So things are afloat. Things are fishy. And then we cut to Rhodey testifying on behalf of Fury and Hill because, as I said earlier, things were fishy with the Americans being there. He hits a lot of allegedly speak in this. He's like, listen, allegedly, whoa, it's hearsay, conjuncture, objection, overruled. They have one of those scenes. Everyone is thinking right now, online at least, that Rhodey is a Skrull. I'm seeing a lot of people saying he seems like the most obvious one. I think there's a chance that's true. Now, if he is a Skrull, Clem, when did Rhodey become one? Was it pre or post Endgame? That's the BC AD I'll set. Pre or post Endgame. I feel like pre Endgame, you lose something because he didn't get to say goodbye to Tony Stark. Post Endgame, you have that, but it's not as shocking. It doesn't hurt, if he became a Skrull 2 weeks before Secret Invasion, the show started. So I don't know.
It makes sense too. The Skrull Rhodey could still do enough in that suit to make it work, right? Where you're not having like Thor coming. That's like, oh, this guy's able to wield lightning and pick up Mjolnir. It's like, no, this. So, See,
imagine he became a Skrull like before he even broke his legs. Rhodey's just walking around somewhere.
Wow, yeah, wow, that would be nice. I'm kind of hoping that's the case for our boy now. I'm kind of hoping that this fourth Skrull had to deal with some shit in order to make his way into the government and into the Avengers and all this kind of stuff. And I feel like saying goodbye to your best friend and being able to walk it's a fair trade-off in the end, right? It's like,
And also, he lost the ability to walk, but he got to see the Tony Stank moment with Stan Lee. That could be worth it.
Yep.
All right. So Fury and Rhodey meet, and this was the best scene in the episode, I thought, where Fury tells him all about the Skrulls. He tells him what's going on, and Rhodey reveals that meeting, them being there as friends, as Fury thought, it's them basically there as fiery and firer, because Rhodey fires Nick Fury. He's like, I'll tell you what this is. This is a friend coming down here to fire another friend who he's known for 20 years or whatever. And oh my God, one of the best Nick Fury lines of all time comes at the end of the scene where he's like, you're out. What do you not understand? You're out. Whatever. Fury leans in. He's like, I'm Nick Fury. Even when I'm out, I'm in. And he just walks out. I got chills up and down my spine. I was like, that's Samuel L. at his best right there.
What he did with that hat, when he took it and he kind of the smooth out, Rhodey was cooked. Rhodey took the L as soon as he should have knocked the hat on the floor, because once Samuel got that hat back in his hand and forget about the line. The line was A+, and that was a fucking he probably wins with just the line and the hat. Boom, Rhodey. Rhodey better be a Skull, because Rhodey just died in my eyes. So hopefully that's Skrull Rhodey, who just got murdered in cold blood by Nick Fury. He fucking he said no to his firing. He fucking blocked it. He said it's kind of like Hank when Dave fired Hank back in the day, and Hank just kept showing up to work. Nick Fury's like, no, I'm Nick Fury. I'll fire you, and then I'll fire myself, and then I'll be like, I can't. I'm Nick Fury. You can't fire Nick Fury, and then I'll fire you for that. And he still doesn't. It doesn't stick because fucking I'm Nick Fury. I'm rubber. You're glue. Whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. That fucking hat move was unbelievable. Oh man, I don't know. I really love that fucking hat trick. And it's you see people, they'll kind of just do the hat. They'll put their hand on it. He straightened it out, and it was fucking magnifico. And I also love the way
learn how to do that.
Yeah, I love the way Nick Fury said the Skrulls are the Skrulls without saying Skrulls. He's like, these green motherfuckers, they'll make you looking like your daddy, you know. And he wasn't like, there are these aliens from outer space, which will make you sound like the dude from the ancient arts or the what's the name of that show?
Aliens,
the crazy
ancient artifacts. Is that it?
Ancient artifacts. Yeah, he's like aliens, shapeshifters. They're green. They have pointy ears. It would sound like
like the guy from the first episode. That's who you sound like, the Pepe Sylvia. Like, I'm telling you, look, it's connected. It's all connected. Everyone you know is an alien.
He had a little bit of Ernie Hudson in him from Ghostbusters. He's like, I've seen shit that'll turn you white. Like, he's like, they'll come and they'll look like your daddy. That just had me cracking up. So Nick Fury brought the fucking thunder. And hey, I thought about this during the episode today. We are kind of spoiled. Like, Don Cheadle's such a good actor too. There's just so many good actors in this show. So if nothing else, we're gonna get, you know, an acting fucking masterpiece every week for 6 weeks.
So then we go to Olivia Colman, once again, the leader of is it MI6? She's the leader of like the British intelligence or government in some way, but she's operating like she's like Tony Soprano here. She goes in, she's like, walks into the back room of a butcher shop, and they're torturing someone. They're torturing the guy who was at the bombing or whatever. She's like, let me take over. Let me take it from here. Tell me where the escape pod is, and everyone get out of the room. And right away, without even hesitating, she chops a finger off with like a hedge clipper type scissors, chops it right off, slices it off like it was butter, and it turns into a Skrull finger. So she's like, oh, good. We got that out of the way quick. Now let's move on. Let's continue the torturing. And she injects him with something that makes his blood literally boil from the inside. You see his veins popping out of his skin. For all the shit that Marvel's been getting for bad CGI, that was a fucked up looking CGI scene. I don't know how they did it with the veins all like popping out of his skin. It looked just as gross as it was supposed to, though. And he reveals to her that Gravik is building a machine to make the Skrulls stronger. He's building something. It's going to make us all stronger. I assume that's what Emilia Clarke walked in on before. Pretty dope scene for Olivia Colman, though.
Badass. That's just all the finger scene. It's a little bit of Denzel Man on Fire, where it's like, I'm just going to take care of my business quickly and painfully. And if you thought this was bad, what you're about to get is even worse. And then after that, I have a code. I might let you live if you give me what I want. I think that scene alone, I think she might be my favorite character in the series right now, because that was so fucking awesome. I guess there's really not a lot of competition. She's the most badass Sonya I've ever seen. Sonya Blade held that title for years from Mortal Kombat. This Sonya trumps her just based on that scene alone. Turns your blood 160 degrees. What are we even doing here? Jesus Christ, Sonya. So, the cool special effects. Like, that's one of those things you're like, I can't even fathom what's going on inside that dude's body. And granted, it's a Skrull, so it's probably a little different. If our blood does that, I imagine we're just cooked. We're just turned into a puddle of ooze, and we're just bubbling on the ground. But that was just, I don't know, man. That was badass. I love shit like that. I really do. I love just badass, like, good guy fucking up the bad guy kind of like interrogation scenes. Your boy does it in Dark Knight, right? And he doesn't even cut off a finger.
He
beats the piss out of the Joker. And the thing is, the Joker's the one dude who's like, there's nothing you do to like hurt me. You can't get anything from me.
Yeah.
That makes that more. All right, I'm gonna have to watch Dark Knight again. I love that fucking movie.
Dark Knight, we got to go back to it.
By the way, we have to apologize. Last episode, we had a lot of people point us out, and I thank everyone in the comments, tweets, whatever. The reason Talos didn't want Nick Fury to shoot the Skrull was because he didn't want a Skrull to die. So that was like something that I just weren't thinking at the time. Makes sense. So that one's on the Basement Boys, and I appreciate everyone chiming in, giving us the feedback, or else I would have just went the rest of my life without any reason why that happened.
I'm sure we probably missed something this episode. Let us know in the comments whatever we missed. Now, Gaia's this might have been what I missed, because Gaia goes down. She Googles some stuff on a computer, and she sees Groot. The fuck was going on there? Was that DNA? Was that they had a Groot DNA in the computer?
So first of all, the computer looks like it's like a 1993 compact Presario, which is awesome. That gives me like my first internet ready computer, like a Gateway 3000 or whatever the hell it was. I would love if the Skrulls were still using the technology that came out the day that they had as like their main computers. But we see Groot. We see that Obsidian guy. Like, you see a lot of different aliens. I think that, we've seen in the MCU so far, whether it's Endgame.
The Dark Elf, was it, from Thor?
Maybe
Thor
like
2.
The Frost, Blood Frost or whatever.
Frost Giant. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just all known species. And I believe I'm splicing this together from, I watched the Heavy Spoilers recap, and I believe what this machine is going to do is allow Skrulls to give themselves superpowers. And in this case, it would be superpowers maybe
that's
from
the one
aliens.
thing they can't do.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, well, I know you're not fucking Groot because you're not having trees shoot out your fucking hands. Well, he can now do that because we have Groot's DNA, and Groot's DNA is like fucking everywhere. It was sprinkled all over Xandar.
Yeah,
it's fucking odd if you got like hit with a splinter during the Battle of Endgame when Stormbreaker was flying around, or even in Infinity War. So there's enough Groot DNA, I think, which is kind of gross as I'm saying out loud. So there's other things. I'm sure there's other ways that they can get it out there, and I do imagine this would be like the Skrulls getting powers side of things. So that's what I'm taking it as in terms of what the guy said, in terms of the machine, and our girl Gaia going through the computer and being like, all right, what's our new boy here? Bido or whatever his name is. Is he ready to rock and roll? You ready for showtime?
So what happens if a Skrull turns into Groot but doesn't have his powers? Do they just look like an adult dressed up as Groot from Party City?
Yes, that's exactly
like
that is exactly
what
they say in the Skrull training too. They're like, you're just gonna look like an adult from Party City. It's gonna be kind of weird. It's cool, but trust me, after it's like a really good Halloween costume, guys, and it only gets you so far if you're trying to like turn this into our home planet.
Yeah. Do you think the Skrulls ever like showed up to Disney wanting to dress up, and Disney turned no costumes in the park? Get out of here.
I mean, we had that idea too. That would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What if you dress up as Mickey Mouse, turn into Mickey Mouse, and then go in and be like, "Hey, I'm the fucking big guy. I'm the head, the head honcho." And then
I think right in the middle of Magic Kingdom, you see Mickey versus Mickey, like Captain America versus Captain America. I think they just throw down.
I guarantee there's like Disney already knows like imposter Mickeys. They have snipers everywhere, just ready to take out anyone that's trying to come in with a fake Mickey costume. They will kill your ass. Like that's the one thing they do not fuck with there.
They already got the crosshairs on you through your window for doing the impression.
I can't do it. So I was just gonna try to do it. I was like, I can't do it. You motherfucker!
Right.
Don't you come into my goddamn kingdom! That's me, Mickey Mouse. No, you're a fucking fake. You fucking phony. You fucking dead. You fucking dead.
So Gravik and company arrive to break out the guy who was being tortured. Coleman escapes as she kind of, laid her plan. She wanted to know where the escape hatch was. And then to the end of the episode, we see Nick Fury walk into a house, and he walks in. It looks like this is a house he's familiar with. And we see a Skrull cutting vegetables or cutting, making dinner. And then the Skrull turns into a human by the end of the episode. Nick Fury walks right in. He's like, what's going on? She's like, not yet. He's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. He turns around, goes and puts on a wedding ring and comes back. Nick Fury is married. He has a wife. He's been out here doing all this Avengers shit. Like he's golfing, 4-hour rounds out here telling the wife, oh, I can't come home. He's got a wife during all this. You got to be kidding me.
Not only does he have a wife, our boy Nick is dipping that quill in a little Skrull ink. You dog, Nick Fury. You dog. We're getting green out here, baby. Wow. I didn't know he had it in him, but goddamn, Bob. I mean, I guess she has it in her, but that's just a physics thing. God bless. God bless. And hey, love is love. Love to see it. And it kind of like hammers home the point. Like, guys, listen, I am fucking riding for you. My goddamn wife. I'm like riding for her too. I'm doing this. I wish only Gravik fucking knew. He was plugging Gravik's like auntie or whatever the hell she is, and it would all be good. That's it. Yo, Gravik, you motherfucker. I've been plugging your auntie since 1997. We went to that Collective Soul concert together, you motherfucker. That was great. And speaking of music, did you hear what was playing in the background?
What was it?
Otis Redding was playing in the background, Rob.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking, and it's Try a Little Tenderness too. Maybe my favorite favorite song. So it's just wow. It was just so goddamn beautiful. So yeah, man. I mean,
what did you think of the revelation in general? I thought it was one of those that does it change a lot of things that does it change everything we know about Fury? No. Does it change a little bit of what we know about Fury? Yes. But I think it was a cool revelation. Like, it doesn't ruin anything for me that he had a wife at home. I just think it's like, oh, now it like Now they're hooking me. Now I want to learn a little bit more about this. I'd like to see some flashbacks. Give us a flashback of like him sitting, in his boxers on the couch with his wife, and he gets a call like, "Hey, Battle in New York's about to happen," and he's like, "Oh shit, here we go." Puts on the eye patch and gets going.
Yeah, this might explain why he was so fucked up. Maybe she got snapped, or she stayed there and married someone else. Like there could be some, because obviously he got snapped. So if he was there and she got snapped, we might have had a Ronin situation in our hand where he got so fucked up about it, right? But I'm thinking maybe this could be it. And then I was like, does he know she's a Skrull? Because we know she's a Skrull. And then I'm like, does Fury know she's a Skrull? And I'm like, I would imagine she does, because
I would imagine, yeah,
but that would have been even funnier. Like, let's be honest, if this whole time Nick Fury has no goddamn idea, and he has the wool being,
it's also the last person you got to hide from. Like the guy who brought everyone to Earth and everything, the guy who's the most pro Skrull guy. It's like, just in case,
It's like, I just wasn't 100% sure about you, Nick. And to be honest, it was like 5 years there kind of proved me right.
And the way she talked to him, that she's the kind of wife that like she puts Nick Fury in his place every now and then.
Oh, yeah.
When he gets out of line, she's like, hey, put that fucking wedding ring back on.
Yep. I like that a lot too. That was like the perfect way to introduce their relationship. It's like, wedding ring back on. You're not with the fucking boys right now. You're not with S.H.I.E.L.D. You're with me. Take out the garbage. It's fucking, there's flies in the goddamn kitchen now because of you, Nick. You goddamn louse.
So 2 weeks, we've got two pretty shocking endings. Maria Hill dies in the first episode. Nick Fury has a wife in the second. Hopefully that continues. I think, if you set us up for shocks and surprises at the end of every episode, maybe one or two is going to fall flat. It's not going to reach those expectations. But at least having a hooker at the end of a hooker.
Yes.
At the end.
Yeah. No, now we're talking about episode 3, a Skrull hooker. It's like, who do you want me to be? And we could just start going down the damsels. Even throw some dudes in there. Fine. We're an open-minded podcast. Whatever you guys want to throw at us, Disney, I'm down.
This is just the show for cliffhangers, in my opinion. A hooker. Yeah, throw a hooker at the end of the episode, and I'll be back for week 3, week 4. I'm excited in terms of finding out Nick Fury's personal relationship. I'm almost more interested in that than the Skrull stuff, which is bad, because I'm interested in the Skrull stuff. Again, it's not a bad show, but it's not the most captivating Marvel show they've had.
Yeah, maybe it's just when I watch Marvel, I'm like, jump, get into it, blah, blah, blah. And maybe I didn't watch other Marvel shows from back in the day that maybe were more like this, but I'm kind of suffering from the same thing. But I do know this whole Secret Wars thing is such a big deal, right? And if this is part of all that, then if this is the bridge we have to walk through, and like you said, if at the end of the season we're like, nothing really happened, and they're like, well, if Maria Hill died, Nick Fury's wife is a Skrull. There was the hooker episode, which was awesome. And then 3 other like big oh shit moments. I mean, it sounds like a Skrull's in your house, Rob. You gotta watch out.
Yeah, that was the first appearance of Faith. Faith, my new dog. She's officially living with us now in the apartment. And yeah, you're gonna hear her every now and then barking. I feel like a dad on his first week, by the way, with a baby. I know the dads listening to this are like, you motherfucker. You can't even imagine. I have been waking up at like 5 a.m. every day to go walk her, and we come back and we cuddle. It's a great life. Don't get me wrong, but I have been on very little sleep for about a week. So.
One of my favorite things in the world right now is just seeing our boy Cons. He's on Twitter and he's like, oh, I'm at the hospital. This couch isn't so bad. We're all the dads always complaining about being at the hospital and this and that. And I'm not even replying. I'm just like, have your fun. Get your little Cons comments out. And even for the first couple of weeks when the baby's doing nothing but sleeping. But the next time I see Connor, which I'm telling you will not be for months, and I'm just going to see the look in his eye or the lack of the look in his eye, because the light is gone. It's not off for good. But it's hidden. It's hidden behind a lot of experience. And I'll tell you, Rob, I can't wait for it. And I'm just going to smirk and go, Cons, how's it going, man? Yeah, I know, man. I mean, Smitty wrote a whole fucking blog about how going from 0 to 1 is nothing compared to going from 1 to 2 kids. And I'm like, welcome to the party, pal. Big Cat's going to 3 now. Big Cat's going to 3, but that's like 1.5 when you have as much money as Big Cat's nothing. Like me, I'm grinding. I'm fucking out here in the streets every goddamn day. It's tough. I'm just going to say it's tough for all of us. So welcome to the party, Bob. I'm happy to have Faith as the unofficial 3rd chair of the pod. And let's rock and roll, baby. Not a Skrull. Faith,
she's like a little mascot,
not a Skrull.
Not a Skrull.
Can
not a Skrull.
Skrulls
She's
be
not on the
animals?
sus list like Sparky.
Yeah, not on the
I'm
sus
gonna
list.
say no. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say
I'm gonna
no.
say
No, Faith is great. We also filled out, you got to register in your town, like your dog or whatever, register with the building. And there's a middle name option. So we made her middle name Hill, Faith Hill Fox.
nice.
We just thought that was
I like
funny.
that. Maybe a little like, and that's also, we could also say that's a in remembrance of Maria too, right?
Oh, it is that, that's why we did it.
That's why he did it. Yep, that's why.
In memory of Maria Hill. There you go.
You better tell that to Elizabeth, because that bitch is mean. I'm telling you, we're gonna
yeah.
And we're gonna probably learn a lot more about Maria, and there's gonna be some mean Elizabeth fucking like Mrs. That's Mrs. Elizabeth. We all know Miss Elizabeth from wrestling. This is Mrs. Elizabeth. I can't say Elizabeth for some reason today. Mrs. Elizabeth. That bitch is mean.
Yeah. All right, that was Secret Invasion. We were just talking before we started the podcast. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny comes out this week. I don't know if we'll do a podcast about it or a quick hitter about it on YouTube. I want to know from everyone listening to this if you're interested in that. Do you want us to do an Indiana Jones recap? We did a trailer recap when that came out, and it didn't really do that well, which made me think maybe our audience is over the Indiana Jones craze. Personally, I'm not. Maybe Harrison Ford super mark, so I'll be there. I think I'm going to go tomorrow on opening night, and today if you're listening to this on release day. And, it might not be right away, but maybe we'll do a quick hitter on it.
Yeah, you guys let us know what works, and we'll go from there. Again, I've heard it's not worse than Crystal Skull or whatever the fuck it is. So.
Yeah.
And this is what I want this week's hashtag to be. Hashtag whoever you think is a Skrull is a Skrull. So hashtag Nick Tarani is a Skrull would be my hashtag. If you think I'm a Skrull, hashtag Clem is a Skrull. Name someone at Barstool that you think is a Skrull. Hit us up in the mentions. Hashtag insert name here is a Skrull.
I love it. And come back next Thursday for another Secret Invasion recap, the Hooker episode. So you're going to want to be there for it. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you then.